Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we want to talk about your constitution. We want to talk about it because when you understand how you are built and you understand it in sort of a metaphorical way, I guess, then all of a sudden you can put choices in place to balance yourself and bring you towards health. It's the language of Ayurveda. So before it gets too enigmatic in what I'm trying to explain, let's just go through the slides. Welcome. All right. Your unique constitution. Ayurveda calls this your PRAKRUTI. It is your personalized instruction manual, and it gives you a lens on how to see your own life. Today, in the next hour, we're going to define what sister science is. And I want you to understand how it leads to your own healing. And we're going to decode your unique constitution. And then, if you want to, learn what step 2 looks like and beyond that. So, sister science it's actually a phrase used to describe and define Ayurveda. Often when people are trying to define what Ayurveda is, they will say it is the sister science of yoga. And I feel like all of the wisdom that I draw from it is the combination of yoga and Ayurveda, sort of dovetailing together in this beautiful way. And so, sister science is the idea that we are bringing forward ideas and wisdom that are not common in our world right now, but there is a history behind them, and there is precedence that they have healing qualities in them. So, it's allowing us to find our health and vitality through these sister sciences. We focus on pillars of health: digestion, sleep, nourishment, and energy management. So when we get these sort of basics understood in our own body, you might know already, oh, I don't get to sleep at night very easily, or I often get bloated. Like, these random facts about yourself, but you don't know how to draw meaning from them. And that's the lens that Ayurveda gives you, because you already know these things about yourself, about your digestion, sleep, nourishment, and energy management, but you don't know how to draw meaning from them yet. And that's what Ayurveda can give you. So they're practical lifestyle tools that help you transform things. We want to be able to go through the seasonal transitions gracefully. We want to be able to go through our life phase transitions gracefully. And that's not always easy. So here come some answers for us. Important to start here. Maybe I'm going back to the most basic of metaphors, but let's look at the yin and yang symbol. So the yang side is the structure, the data, the linear, everything's process-based. When we talk about facts and figures and information, this is the yang. Sometimes they call this like the known, where we've already made order, we've already brought understanding to a topic. And that, what we know, falls under this yang category. It, knock on wood, we can bring some tactile, practical understanding to these topics. So once we know something, you can become an expert at it. Once we know something, you can dive deep and really, really, really be able to understand, teach, and support others with this known knowledge. And this is where science sits. This is where our Western medicine sits. This is the information that we've already extracted from the universe, and we've come to understand it. And we value this a lot in our society. We value it so much that it's built our medical system, it's built our political system, it's built our education system, it's built our healthcare system. All of that, it's come from the known. Let's leap over to the other side for a minute, the yin. This has more flow. This has more intuition. This is where you know things, but you don't necessarily know how you know them. There's an enigma here, a mystery. It's very based on feeling. This sort of stuff gets hard to describe because it isn't yet known. It is still unknown. There's still a veil between our complete understanding of it and the world we live in. What sister science really wants us to do is to not disregard this side of the yin and yang, this side of, or the balance of the world. I want us to be curious here. I want us to have hypotheses here. I want us to have experiments here. I want us to learn to trust and invest and listen, because as we sit in this sort of unknown side of things, we're listening to something that we might not be able to sort of knock on wood, explain it to people, but we understand it as truth in our body. And I think that what my goal is with Sister Science is to give this yin side, also called the feminine, the feminine energy. I want to be able to give this as much credibility and respect, and I want to honor it and hold it as equal to the yang. And so that's the goal here, is to finally pull this side that has been defiled and derailed and denied, demonized for so long. And I want to pull it back in to its rightful, respectful seat beside the yang. Make it a whole again. Because I think that that's where that balance is where health exists. Let's keep going. So at Sister Science, there are 4 main courses, and Year of You has been the one that's been running for 6 years. It is where you're going to dive into the 10 most basic habits of Ayurveda and try and bring them into your life, experimenting with how you affect change in how you think, in the decisions you make, in your happiness level, in your energy levels, in how you nourish, sleep, and manage your energy. Through this course. It's my baby. It's my favorite. New this year is the Know You to Heal You. It's a 10-week series. It helps you sort of dabble in this information before you make a deep dive decision. After this, for people who have taken the review, who understand, who kind of are in the paradigm already, they are bringing forth this yin feminine side of them and trusting it, learning to trust it, learning to believe in it, and focus their decision making from this wise place. Then you go into the year of expansion, where we take the philosophical texts of yoga and we bring them forward in a really embodied practice to help you bust out old beliefs. So it's no longer just like a meme you throw on your Instagram story, but it's something that you're practicing every single week. The year of purpose comes last. Once you've done all the cleanup in your body and you really know how to do this, and then you could start to feel this itch inside, a deeper purpose coming forward, a way that you want to be in the world, an authenticity that wants to be lived. And this year of purpose helps you bring that dharma to your real life. It's magical. So this right now is the suite of courses offered by Sister Science. Today, we're going to do number 1 on this list. We're going to work on how you were built to work. And know that basically we're working on the very first step of this 10-week series, because I really want you to know that there is an instruction manual for your life. And as you come to read the pages of it, as you come to understand and integrate your learning of this really robust manual, the efficiencies, the health, the happiness, the ease that you find in life is a real thing, even if it's a mystery how it all unfolds. So let's get started. Today, we are going to look at the 2 goals of Ayurveda. We want to be proactive and preventative so that we maintain our wellness. Healthcare in our modern day is sick care. You don't go to your doctor when you feel well. The doctor doesn't tell you, oh, perfect, come and see me and we will help create wellness practices for you. Often you'll actually go to the doctor with some of the things that you're feeling not well with, and the doctor might even say to you, oh, I don't know. If it gets worse, come back. So I sometimes think that our current practices are more sick care than they are well care. But Ayurveda backs us up to start to proactively take care of our wellness right from the very beginnings of dis-ease in the body. So number 2 here is to cure dis-ease. We want to address the qualities in you that are out of balance and bring them back into balance. We want you to learn today how you do four key things. So not necessarily learn. We want to bring up into your awareness how these things automatically operate in your body so that you're starting to see them as a witness. You're starting to witness yourself in these experiences. How do you nourish yourself? And I ask this not just about how you eat. Ayurveda talks about nourishment in terms of everything you consume. So think about what you see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. All the life experiences that you bring in some way nourish you or not. And we want to build a life that brings nourishment in. We can feel it. We can feel when we're doing things that are not nourishing to our body. And we can feel when we have experiences that are not nourishing to our body. And as that happens, Ayurveda has a word, ama, gunk. Gunk just collects. It's undigestible stuff. And it can be related to the food that you're eating, but it can also be related to the experiences that are coming into your world. And so we want to be really careful to guard what we consume so that we're only taking in that which is nourishing intentionally. Life always throws some unnourishing stuff at us. Secondly, we're going to talk about sleep because this is our most precious refueling, restabilizing resource. It's the place where our body does the repairs and the fixes. It's the place where we sort of, you know how you, when a computer doesn't work right, sometimes you just turn it off and turn it on again. That's what sleep does. It just allows a reset to happen. And we need to get really serious about prioritizing it. Number 3 is energy management. We're really good at spending our energy. We're really good at doling it out. It's really good at leaking, but we're not always really good at prioritizing refilling our own cups. Often, someone else's emergency becomes our problem. Often we give our energy away in places and ways that isn't sustainable for us or isn't actually in our own best interest. There's a people-pleasing quality to it. A lot of it is ways that it's, our beliefs and our patterns are behind this thing that when we prioritize ourselves, we are being selfish. And sometimes we don't want to be selfish, and so we give away our energy. And Ayurveda says, nah, if you want to have energy to give, you must prioritize it. It goes back to the idea that on a plane, you put your own oxygen mask on first all the time. And that's what this idea brings us back to. How do we take care of ourselves first so the cup is always full and energy can pour out with ease to the people around us? Lastly, I want to talk about digestion because there is a saying in Ayurveda that says, when your digestion is working well, no disease can take place in the body, can take hold in the body. Because when your digestion is capable of pulling all the nutrients out of everything you consume and getting rid of the waste, both, right? So all the gunk that's coming in, when your body is good at doing that and sort of absorbing this and getting rid of this, then no disease can take hold in your body. So when we really get serious about that, then we start watching what's happening daily with our digestion and making little tweaks so that we can really honor the digestive system. It's one of the most energy expensive systems in the body. So the more efficient we can make it, the more extra energy we have to live in life, and the more it's capable of getting rid of that ama, that gunk that comes in because life. All right, so that's what we're going to concentrate on today. I want you to know that when Ayurveda talks about the qualities, we are talking about your physical body, yes. But a physical symptom doesn't always have a physical cause. And a mental symptom doesn't always have a mental cause. They're interrelated because the layers of your being can't be pulled apart from each other. So we have to look at you as a whole. We have to look at your physical body, what I can observe when I see you. We have to look at the systems of the body, the stuff I won't know as a practitioner unless you share it with me. This has to do with your digestion, your circulation, your reproductive system, how you're sleeping, how you're eating, how your energy is feeling in your body. And number 3, the traits of your mind and your spirit. How do you show up in the world? This is almost like your personality. How outgoing are you? How extroverted? How introverted? How much passion do you have? What kind of creativity do you have? Do you tend towards anxiety or irritation or depression? These sorts of things. Like what's the mental picture taking place in you? What are the defaults that happen in terms of your moods? When we know these things, we're drawing a really complete picture of who you are. Your unique constitution is something that was given to you at conception. So we talk about sort of, when conception happens, it's like these cells, this DNA, these gene codes forming together. And this gene code becomes who you are forever. So it's eternal. This is unchanging. There's nothing you can do to change this blueprint of you. And there's nothing wrong with it. It is by design who you are as a person. The word in Ayurveda is PRAKRUTI. PRAKRUTI. I'm just going to say that it's your human blueprint. It's your instruction manual. It's who you are designed to be in the world. And when you can just own this and know it about yourself, you have so much less judgment, self-judgment, the little voice you're always hearing about, you should and you're not, nah, 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 nah. You can try and quell that voice a little bit because you understand yourself as that perfect whole, enough being in this world. All right, we're really getting into it now. Are you ready? You are made up of the elements of the earth. Ayurveda describes those elements as air and ether, fire, water, earth. So these elements all have a different qualities that they show. And we know, even if we just think about it, earth is really heavy and dense. It's really grounded. It doesn't, get shaken up very easily. Air is really light, really easily, wind blows really easily. Disturbed. Ether is something where like the Wi-Fi would be happening in the ether. Your thoughts would be happening in the ether. Fire, I don't know, it's kind of a real thing in our real world around us as things get dry and hot. The fires are happening in our world. The fire within you is one where your passion is, your motivations. It's the fire of digestion, of transformation. And water is like the flow. The flow. It cools things, it grounds things, it brings an unctuousness, a juiciness, a protection, a layer around things. So I want you to know that you are 100% made up of these elements. We don't know yet, like what percentage is water and what percentage is earth. We don't know what percentage of you is these individual qualities, but we're going to try. We're going to give it our best effort to figure out sort of what categories you are made up of. So Ayurveda's tried to simplify it a little bit by only having 3 categories. Vata is the air and ether, those really light, untangible qualities. Pitta, the fire, really hot, raging, burning, the transformation qualities. And Kapha, the grounding, the water and the earth mixed up to make mud so that the trees can grow and the plants can bloom. These are the qualities that you're made up of, and you need all of them to become a human being. Vata is movement. They say that there's the Vata Vayu. There's 5 ways that Vata comes into your body. It's the prana that comes in and out, the inhale, the exhale. It's the circulation as that air pumps into your blood and extends out to your fingertips and toes in your body, the circulation reaching out. It's the movement in your digestive system that's extracting the goodness and pulling in everything that gets absorbed into the cells and then spitting out everything that needs to go into the channels of waste. That's what Vata does. It is responsible for the movement of my body. It's the responsible for the movement of my voice. It's the responsible for the movement of my thoughts. Vata is responsible for all movement in your body. Pitta is the heat of transformation. So pitta is the fire that's burning in there. And as your experiences are coming in, it's like sort of burning everything up and extracting the goodness and throwing away the waste. It's transforming your life experiences into real tangible things. So it might be the idea that as you become an adult, you're like, earning money and buying a house. Or if you're my kid, you're earning money and buying a bike. It's bringing the intangible into the tangible sometimes. Pitta is where your passion and motivations lie. It's being able to transform an idea into a reality. It's bringing things into fruition. Pitta is also, bringing that embryo to life to become a human being. And then kapha is growth. Kapha is this body's capacity to grow, this body's capacity to add weight, to get taller, to be unctuous, to recover. It's sort of like the container. So if Vata is the prana, it's the life force moving through things, and Pitta is the light, it's the heat of transformation, then Kapha becomes your container. The word for Kapha in its pure form is ojas. And our goal in Ayurveda is to give you the best ojas that you can have so that your container is big and strong and capable of holding the life that you live. Because when this ojas isn't present, we know we don't have the energy to be able to do the things we want to do. Energy might be leaking out because there's holes in this container. And our goal is to shore up those holes so that there is capacity for us to let that fire grow bigger so that we can blow more air in on things and watch it get big, watch the fire and the inspiration interact and transform into a beautiful life. So you can feel the metaphor in here, which is probably why I love Ayurveda so much. Let's take it to one step up, one step more. Are you ready? All right. So Vata, the Vata parts of you are the parts of you that are made up of air and ether. Now, a Vata body, if we were to just look at a person and say, that person's got a Vata body is thin and wiry. There's not a lot of extra padding. The joints could be sort of overexposed joints. You can't gain weight. In fact, your metabolism is quite high, so you could lose weight more easily than you gain it. And like your features are sort of long and skinny and thin and pointy, things like that. You're prone to dry skin. You're prone to dry out because there's not a lot of juiciness in you. The Vata air and ether qualities don't have that water and earth quality. So they're not juicy or unctuous. They get dry and they get cold quite easily. But because Vata is air and ether, you're creative. Your mind is always got a new idea. You could be even artistic. This also means that you're sort of easily pulled in lots of directions, the way it's sort of like, oh, I'm just going the way the wind's blowing today. The metaphor applies because you often will get pulled in all these different directions, following all these other ideas, but you might not have the follow through, the fire to be able to transform those ideas into something real and concrete. You can get bored easily. Now, what happens to a Vata is they almost like forget to eat. They don't feed themselves well. And food isn't really sort of a drawing card for them. They graze as needed, but they rarely take time to really nourish. And the funny thing is, Vadas are the ones who need this. They're the ones who need to sort of sit down to a hearty breakfast, sit down again to a hearty lunch, sit down again to a hearty dinner because they need the grounding. They need to bring that earth and water into their bodies because innately it doesn't sit there. They're mostly made up of air and ether, high percentage of air and ether in their bodies. So how it shows up in your digestive system is constipation, gas, and bloating. It shows up in your body as dry skin, as cold extremities. And it shows up in your mind as anxiety, as on a spin, when things like thoughts just feel like they're swirling around. Panic attacks can happen to Vata people. There's a racing quality that happens, like the wind is blowing too fast. Thoughts can come in and go out and not land. There's nothing sort of to hold them in place. So when a Vata person is out of balance, these are the sort of experiences that they might notice in their body. And even if you are not a Vata person, when these experiences start to happen to you, all you know is that there's excess air and ether in your being for the amount that you prefer. Got it? Okay. Start to think about the ways that Vata shows up in you. Let's move to Pitta. If you have lots of fire and you know it, then you are probably Pitta. This is the person who can just likes to get a good bone to chew on and gets a good project going and loves to see something come into fruition. Um, Body shape. A Pitta is really medium in build, maintains weight easily, probably mostly the same weight most of their adult lives. You can get some decent muscle if you work at it, but mostly you've just got, an easy body with the right amount. I'm going to say the right amount for you, padding. You're not too unctuous. I don't know. You're kind of middle of the road. But you do like learning. You like applying knowledge. You set goals. You achieve goals. You're a check mark person. You like lists. You like quizzes. You like bringing things in. It's almost like a log on a fire, right? You've got a fire in there, and your body's always craving a log. Now, if that fire gets too big and it starts to show up in your body, it's almost like there's a burning happening. And if that heat doesn't have a place to go, it can show up on your skin. So you can get rashes, acne, eczema. Eczema can be from Pitta or from Vata too. But you can get this sort of heat coming out of your body. It can happen in your eyes too. They can be red, they can be inflamed, they can be itchy and dry. So Pitta, when it gets into excess, can feel like it's burning you. It shows up in your digestive system as heartburn and as, I don't know, even like painful diarrhea or just diarrhea. It's like things are just getting burned and thrown out really quickly. So you want to be able to keep that fire in balance. Your body likes a good fire, but it also needs checks and balances. This passion works for you. This Pitta fire works for you because you have drive and energy. You have follow through. There's a sense of accomplishment that you can achieve very regularly. The Pitta person needs to eat regular meals, and they usually don't forget to eat. A Pitta person likes, a good meal, but they get hangry if they don't feed themselves well. And in the mood and mental state, if Pitta goes out of balance, that drive and that motivation turns into irritation and anger and irritability, agitation. You can get hot. You can burn people with your words. You're not very fun to be around when that kind of excess Pitta starts coming out in your personality, and you're not a very nice person to be around when that happens. So if any of you feel like you can relate to Pitta, that can come back and bite you a little bit. Because you have such a good burning fire, you tend to be able to eat a little bit more Like you don't have to worry about so much about what you eat because the fire can burn almost anything. But there are some exceptions to that rule, and there are some things that you really have to watch because they don't go well with a burning fire. Okay? That's pitta. Think about the ways that you are pitta. Okay, so let's do the last one, kapha. If you are a kapha person in build and body, then you have lots of earth and water. You have a strong build. You have big bones. You are probably more of a square shape. Your body adds weight more easily. Um, your metabolism is slower than the other two, but perhaps you have the best energy of anyone. Because your metabolism is slow, that energy gets to be really consistent and seamless. It shows up in you as a really stable person. You're not someone who gets easily rattled. You're not someone who gets like thrown off. Your immunity is high. You're not easily injured. These things really go for you when you have a good, strong kapha constitution. It's a sustainability that the other two have to be careful of. So the pitta tends to burn themselves out, and the vata will just have crashes. But this kapha, that doesn't really happen to them. They've got energy, they've got sustainability, they've got immunity. You're a reliable person. You're really good at routine. And what happens if you get too earth and water, if there's not enough fire, if you don't draw on your fire or draw on your air and ether, your vata, then you get too still. And that becomes stagnation. It becomes stuckness. It becomes heaviness. It becomes like almost like you can't move. Someone needs to push you to get you going because it just feels so easy to just be still. And that's the trap of too much kapha in your body, is that all of a sudden you're unmotivated. Things are too cloudy and unclear. You don't have any of the passion or drive. You don't have any of the prana moving through your body that sort of gets you up and going. The hardest part for a kapha is to start, because once they get their ball rolling, they are the most sustainable of all of the types. And the one other thing I will say about a kapha in the northern climates of Canada, you are the one that it most easily lives through our long, long winter seasons, the least affected by the sort of seasonal affective disorders. How your digestion works is that it's that slow metabolism, so it can get sluggish. And you do have to watch that. Because metabolism is slow, you probably could handle only having 2 meals a day, maybe 3 light meals a day. But the kaphas are the ones that are like, I'll eat again. I love eating. Kapha will never forget to eat. So it's funny almost how the one who could probably do with being able to just like fuel themselves twice a day is quite easily drawn to more fuel, because it's what their body does well. It does well, fuel and make it into nourishment, fuel and create cells. Your body's good at that. And the vatas over there that should be doing what kaphas do, just forget to eat. Okay, so think about the ways in which you are kapha. When you get your PRAKRUTI sheet out, I want you to start filling out the form. I want you to be able to circle any of the words that apply. You are allowed to circle words in more than one column. For instance, under hair, for me, I would circle dry under vata. I would circle fair, gray, red under pitta. And I would circle thick under kapha, because they all apply to me. I'm pretty medium balanced under body frame, I'm pretty pitta. So in that way, but I want you to go through it and I want you to answer these questions. You'll see that this top set of qualities are relating to things that I could observe as an Ayurvedic practitioner. I could sit in front of you and I could look at your frame, your weight, your skin, your hair, your teeth, your nails, your eyes, and I could draw conclusions that would help me understand how you fit into these three categories. And that is how you're going to see yourself now. You're going to start to say, is your body observably, does it fit into one of these categories, or is it still a little bit of everything? Give yourself a second to answer those questions. Next, we're going into the things that I can't see as a practitioner. These are the things that you know about yourself, and this is sort of your way of being in the world. And this is where Ayurveda is really curious. We want to know how your mind works, your memory. We want to know about your routines and your beliefs, your dreams, your opinions, your moods, even your finances and how you run your money can tell us things. How do you spend your time? What foods are you drawn to? What are your sensitivities? And what are your temperaments? So as we come to understand these things, we see how you operate in the world, and we start to understand, oh, there's a lot of air and ether in your personality. There's a lot of fire in your personality, or there's a lot of grounded stability, earth and water in your personality. Interesting. What do you see for yourself? Lastly, I want to look at the systems of the body. So your digestive system gives us a ton of information as our Ayurvedic practitioners, and we want to understand how it is innately. And what we find is Vata people, their digestion tends to be very variable, and it's very prone to sort of be dried out, and the fire sort of flares up and then dies down, and kind of like your energy, like you'll have a burst of energy, then it goes away. And that's how the digestive system tends to be in the body. The pitta, there's a burning fire there all day long. And if anything, they risk that fire getting too big. Kaphas, the digestive fire is just cooler. It doesn't burn as hot. And it's sort of like, it might be like the campfire at the end where there's warm coals that are really good at doing a marshmallow, but it would take a long time to sort of bake a potato, right? So there's a different kind of fire burning in each of these different dosha types. Check off what applies to you there. We care about your circulation because we want to know how movement's happening in your body, sweat, the pulse, the movement. We want to know about your sleep. We can tell a lot by how you talk. The Vata people talk fast and use their hands. The Pitta people can be sharp and direct and aggressive with their words, or just loud. And then the Kapha speech is really, lilting, slow, harmonious, loving, easy to be around. There's libido questions. Immunity tells us something, and then your activity, your energy levels, and your endurance. All of these give us an insight into how you are created, how you are meant to work in this world. So you're answering these questions, sort of what's true for you over your whole life. Don't answer the question sort of specifically to today, something's happening, because that is showing you an imbalance, which is lesson 2. We'll get there. All right. I'm doing my best to create a chart where you can fill all this in and then it'll add up the totals for you. It's almost ready, but not yet. So right now you're going to count the words in each column. You might have 2 words on the same line. You're going to go down that column, add it up, down the Pitta column, count, down the Kapha column, totals. Take the Vata, Pitta, Kapha total and add them up. You find the percentage by Vata divided by total, Pitta divided by total, Kapha divided by total, and that will give you the percentage. There's one small change I need you to make. If any of your numbers are less than 10%, Ayurveda kind of has this silly this rule that you can't be less than 10% of any of these qualities. It takes at least 10% of air and ether to make you a human, at least 10% fire to make you a human, at least 10% kapha to make you a human. You couldn't be a human unless you have all of the qualities. that are available in the earth. And so if one lands below 10%, bump it to 10 and steal some points from one of the other ones. Okay? So then you are finding your innate constitution. And I want you to look at that and I want you to see if that makes sense for you. Does it make sense? Oh, I'm made up of air and ether. Oh, I'm two of them kind of seem like they are key qualities for me. One of them's really low. That's interesting. This is where we begin. Understanding this is where we start. Some energies will dominate your mind. You might find that when you looked at that section, you're like, oh, that's my personality. It's really Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Oh, my body feels different. It's really Vata, Pitta, Kapha, one of the three. But I want you to know that what we're trying to uncover is this gene code instruction manual. The you that was created at your conception. This union that created you, full of the DNA that made you, and how that DNA is being expressed in a human being. Because when we understand this blueprint, we can always come back to it and find balance. So, one of the things that we practice in the Sister Science Year Review course is this quarterly check-in with ourselves, where we've been experimenting with our choices, our habits, how we support ourselves over a particular season. So at the end of winter, say, we'll ask ourselves, what happened? What did I learn about myself? Why is that important? And what now? We ask the same set of questions after spring, after fall, after summer. And what this gives you is it's sort of a showcase of, oh, when my constitution shows up in this season, this is the result. When my constitution shows up in winter, as opposed to me showing up in summer, two different things are happening. And as you can bring awareness to how the you in winter and the habits that support you in winter, how that shifts to what that might be needed for you in spring or summer, you have a whole new toolbox. We're really interested in creating that toolbox for you. So right now, just asking yourself to answer those questions based on just this one piece of paper, just this one new understanding of how you are made up of the earth elements. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, air and ether, fire and water. What is your inner knowing going, oh? Because what we want to do is we want to give words, give explanation to that which you already know. Because none of this is new to you. We're just trying to give it a lens, give it a paradigm for you to use it as important and useful information from which you can make decisions. That's our goal. All right. So what I want you to know is if that felt empowering, if that felt important, if you can feel the sister science in you, if you can feel the intuitive inside of you going, I want more of this, then we're going to drop in over and over again and teach you how to listen to you. Because what we know is already out there in the world. And we can go to those experts and we can ask their advice and we can get their consultation and we can draw on the knowledge and learning that is already known in this world. And we need to really hold in equal balance and respect our own inner wisdom. And that's the balancing act that will bring us into wellness. And that's the invitation I bring to you. So when I said, don't answer these questions according to what's happening just right now, that's lesson 2. How do you know when you're out of balance? If Prakriti is your eternal, unchanging self, then Ayurveda says Vikriti is how the world throws you around. And as you can guess, The world throws around Vata people a little bit more because they're just not as like full of earth and water heavy elements. So they get vitiated. They get knocked around a little bit more. A little bit less so for Pitta and a lot less so for Kaphas. So just know in your constitution, if you have high Vata, it just means there's more responsibility on you to add the grounding elements. If you have high fire, just know that there's responsibility in you to add the water, add the earth, also the grounding elements to help make sure the fire doesn't get too big. And if you are mostly kapha, the responsibility on you is to add the fire, add the prana, add the air to invigorate you and mobilize you and get you moving so that you can be the sustainable person, bringing your gifts into the world the way you're meant to. We go from there. You can read on the slides the modules that we're going to move through in this 10-week course. Each week giving you a layer of understanding about yourself so that you can apply that knowledge and bring forth this really grounded internal doctor that has your highest interests at heart all the time. Your body whispers to you, and when you learn to listen, you won't have to hear it scream. All right. If you want to take a snapshot of this, this is the access to our Know You to Heal You course. And through this, you will be able to sign up. The course starts on Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. I welcome you, and I hope that this gave you the insight that you needed to decide if Sister Science is a place for you to come into community and learn you. Enjoy your day. Thanks for being with me. I appreciate it.